In a previous episode here on Double Clutch, we visited the Classic Car Club of America's event down in Florida. Today, we'll take a look at another beautiful car featured at that event, whose previous owner customized it in a very personal way. Welcome to Double Clutch, the House of Classics.
My name is Bob White, and I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm somewhat of a Western historian, and that's why this car works perfectly for me. My son and I restored it. It's the Tom Mix Cord. Tom Mix did 348 movies, all but 8 were silent. So he was the big film star in the teens and 20s, the highest paid guy during that time. He had this car, bought it new in 1937, and he put all these little interesting additions to the car. He really personalized it. You know, he was a promoter, salesman. You know, he wanted to put things on his car that people would see. So it's got a lot of additions that most 1937 Cords do not have. Look, just little things like the TM on the screen here for his initials. He had these stands made here so that he could fly these flags. These medals were given to him by the King of Denmark. And so Tom Mix put them right on the car. He also added all these lights. Cord had these fog lights, but they didn't have this trip light. And Tom Mix added that little ring. Never seen that ring before ever, but that's just a little addition that Tom wanted to make to the car. Of course, he had his license plate up there with his name and the license plate. And he just loved to promote himself anytime he could. I called the guy up who owned the car in the 1960s. And I said, do you have anything left from the Tom Mix Cord? He says, oh yeah, you know, I've got some stuff, I think up in the attic. Well, I wanted to run out there the next day, but he said, I'll be ready to talk to you in about 3 months. 3 months later, I went out there, and he's like 95. I just had knee surgery 3 weeks before. We climbed up in his attic, and the roof was about this tall. So for 2.5 hours, we pulled these boxes out. And in the attic, in a box, we found that original leather so that we could remake those. We also found a siren in the car, and you know, he had an honorary sheriff and honorary fireman badges, but we'd only heard rumors that there was a siren here in the car. So not only did we find the siren, but we also found, or he could tell us where it was bolted to the frame. It is the most well-known Cord in existence. It's a very popular car. It's a favorite of people who come and see the car because of Tom Mix and its history. And Tom Mix crashed this car in 1940 and was flipped out of it and died. But inside, he also has a leather holster that has a gun in it. And we found the original leather. We found a gun and had it carved to be just like his. He also has a leather gas pedal, and it's got a cutout at the bottom, or kind of a raised part so you can put your boot in there. And I can testify, a boot really works great right there. It has a spare tire carry on it, and there were only 3 of these Phaetons that came out with spare tire covers, Barbara Stanwyck, Al Jolson, and Tom Mix. So that's another very rare feature in the car. This is not a standard flying lady that it looks like one on a cord. It's all one piece and it extends differently. So Tom Mix just had that made a one-off, so we had to do the same thing and made that from scratch. On the back, there's a tail light, and it fooled us for a long time. We couldn't figure out what this tail light is because it's not a Cord. And there's one photo of the car. That photo in the back, we could finally figure out that it was a 1937 Pontiac taillight. So he bought a 37 Cord, and he took and found a 37 Pontiac, painted it, and put it on his brand new car. Now the reason is that on a Cord, the license plate kind of lays down like this. That's not good enough for Tom Mix. He wanted his license plate sticking straight up so that you could see his name. And so that was kind of interesting. The license plate is the plate that he had at the time. And so we found a 1940, re-stamped it, and restored it. We love this car, and everybody that looks at it has a great time with it.
Thanks so much for watching this week's Classic Car episode. We'll see you next Monday for another one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more classic car stories. And stay tuned for more restoration segments every Thursday, found here on Double Clutch.